screen, and yeah, I wasn't really live. So there's a bunch of you guys here. I was talking to myself, thinking I was talking to all you guys. Tucker should be on here shortly. He's got the link, so he should pop into our screen somewhere, and we'll see what we can get. I think if I do this, yep, okay, yeah. So he should have everything he needs to get here. So I went through everybody that was here already, but let's go again because you didn't hear me. We got Bill Saflarski, got Sherry Miller, Ed, American Country 716, Yadkin Valley. Oh, check this out, guys. And there he is right there, Tucker from Tucker's Timbers. How we doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I don't know how to truly pronounce your last name. How do we pronounce your last name?
Ruble. Pretend the W is silent.
Ruble. All right, that's easy. I can do that. I didn't want to mess it up, so I figured we'd let you tell everybody.
Yeah. Whenever I have to tell somebody my last name, I have to say WR.
Yep, yep. So you've been busy lately.
Yeah, I sure have. To say the least.
That's a good thing though. Busy makes more money than not.
Exactly. That is for
So
sure.
I'm gonna go through the chat here and see who we've got on here tonight, and then we'll kind of get going and get started. So we've got Sherry Miller from Miller Stumps and Firewood. We got Ed, American Country 716. Mike Carter, Lake Ontario Firewood. We got Wise Choice Firewood. We got Yadkin Valley Outdoors. I got Ken. Ken is everywhere. So if you do anything with firewood, Tucker, you're going to find out Ken shows up everywhere on every channel and at every
Yeah.
event. He just shows up. I got Clarence Dobson, Josh and Janice Leach. Clarence wanted to know if anybody guessed what my 2 containers are for. Do you know what I'm going to do with the containers, Tucker?
Probably gonna turn them into a kiln, right?
Yeah, one of them's going to be a kiln, but we're going to split a 40-foot container and make 2 individual kilns.
That's the way to go for sure. Because I was thinking about it. I saw that short and I was like, that's a great idea, but 40 foot is like a long ways back, and especially if it's only one way to get in there.
So 10 years ago, I had this plan to build a kiln, and I never followed through with it. I was too busy selling greenwood to even worry about feeding a kiln. We were doing about 1,500 full cord a year, somewhere in there. So we didn't have a need to chase any more business.
Yeah. No.
Looking back, I wished I had done bundles, and they
Uh-huh.
have to be kiln dried.
How many
So
you get bulk orders like that for bundles? How many are you getting at once?
So the chain has 88 convenience stores in the chain, and right now they're selling about 40,000 bundles a year.
Wow.
So it sounds daunting, but I think broken up into weeks, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I have an idea for the world's best firewood bundle delivery truck too.
Yeah.
I want to buy an old Budweiser truck, and I want to wrap it with a big full body wrap that says "Got Wood" on the side, and put our phone number and our logo on it, and just run and make a beer
Oh,
run to all the stores with bundles.
yep. So that reminds me of the time marketplace. I've learned like so much, and that's all I basically run my business on is Facebook. And there's this one time I was on a delivery, and I just got done with it, and I popped on Facebook for a second, and I saw um oak firewood that had been sitting out for 3 years, and they wanted to give it away for free. So I said, I'll come take it right now. I picked it up and I sold it on the way home. So
Yep.
that reminds me of like just out and about, and you're just getting. It's crazy the demand truly for firewood, because people really don't know how
Huh.
much is kind of needed, really.
Oh, Firewood 50 gave us a super chat right there. Cheers to Willie and Tucker. Well, thank you very much, Firewood 50. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Josh, I got your stickers yesterday, by the way, too. I meant to email you yesterday. I haven't opened it yet.
They say sound's cutting in and out on their end. I can hear you good on my end, so I don't know. They're having buffering too. Last week when I went live on Sunday, YouTube was all messed up and wonky. Bunch of people dropped out. It was being rough. But Neighborly Homestead said that they're fine too. So yeah, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna make a container kiln, and we're actually gonna take about 6 feet out of the center of the kiln and make like a utility room. So
Yeah.
we're gonna use a forced hot air wood furnace for the heat source, and I'm going to make all of the electric solar powered. So we're going to do this off grid. There's going to be no electricity tied to this kiln, and we should be able to run the whole thing without any electricity from the grid.
Where are you gonna put the panels? Just on the
The
top, or?
panels are going to be, well, we're going to do a pitched roof between the
Oh,
two containers, and I
yeah.
have it turned so that one whole side of the roof is facing the sun.
Yeah.
So we should be able to pick up all the sun, and we'll put a battery bank in there somewhere, and yeah, it should be a
Yeah.
good time. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can make for a mess.
Yeah, I'm doing that kind of exact same thing, except I'm doing electrical. So we just trenched all the way down to the container from the house, and so we're gonna have electricity down there. And once I do, I'm gonna put my workbench in there and all that. But it'll be tough to fit the piece of equipment that I got coming with workbenches and stuff like that in there. Because the reason
Yeah,
for the container was
I know what you got coming. You're going to need something bigger than a container.
you think
Yeah, well, maybe if it was not being used, you could maybe, I don't even know if you'd squeeze it in a container then.
too wide or too tall?
Too tall, probably.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think containers it's 12 or 10. That's probably safe.
The container inside is 9'2" with a high cube.
Really.
So it's got to be under 9'2".
Well, I'll figure something out. What's the tallest point on the machine? You know?
It would probably be the deck, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
it's folded up.
Yeah.
So BZ Firewood says that he finally got his fire starters figured out and needs to figure out a way to package for sale any ideas. So whatever your fire starter is size wise, go on to like Uline or Amazon or anywhere like that and look up cardboard boxes, figure out what it would take cubic inch wise to put 180 of those, and then find a box that fits that and size it about 5 to 10% bigger. And you can just get a plain cardboard box, and then you can put your shipping label on it and do what you need to do.
Yeah, glowing. I'm getting it. It should be this week or next week. Um, I'll just tell you guys the piece of equipment that I'm getting is coming from. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it's coming from the fine folks over at Timberwolf. That Russ had Logger Jason on. Was that last week? They had him on
Yep,
here.
yep. Last Sunday. I think Sunday is going to be our live guest night most of the time, unless we have somebody that wants it to be Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm planning on anyway. And Connor McCrae, he follows us from across the pond. So Connor's over in Ireland or Scotland, one of the two. And he actually knew what I was doing with the containers before anybody else did. He made a computerized drawing. He put the roof over the containers. He put the logo on the side. He put kiln on one side, storage on the other. He had it all figured out already. So
That's
Connor's
great.
definitely good at reading minds.
Yeah.
And Ken just figured out that I passed 6,000 subs this week on Facebook. So yes, we did break 6,000. I broke 7,000 followers on Facebook this week, and I'm almost at 5,000 followers on TikTok. I just got back into TikTok again. I got shadow banned once. I had monetization and all that, and I posted a video and somebody swore in it and it got flagged, and then the next thing you know, my channel's gone. So
Yeah. Yeah. I have dabbled in TikTok, but I'm trying to YouTube for sure heavy right now because I post a long form video every day, so it's tough. But
yep.
tough to do everything else with the long forms. Those take up a lot of time.
So
Yeah.
Jason wants to know if I'm going to build cages for the kiln. I actually have, if this works out right, anybody that wants one of these kilns and wants the cages will be able to buy everything they need to put onto a container and make your kiln when you're done. We're going to put together or try to patent a kiln program so that if you want to build your own kiln, you can go ahead and just get it done.
Wow. You're just gonna like basically give people a blueprint then? And
Yep,
then
they're going to buy a set of plans. We're going to have the wood furnace all sourced out, the solar panels sourced out, the fans, the temperature recorders, everything. So as long as you have a container, you can plunk all this stuff in it, and you have a kiln ready to go.
wow.
I've kind of got an engineering background to a point, and then I've got another gentleman that used to do a lot of computer and PLC programming for us at a bakery that I ran. He's really heavily into the lumber industry up here in Maine. And when
Really?
we talked about a kiln 10 years ago, he was all excited about a firewood kiln. He's like, yeah, I'll help you. He's like, let me know. So I called him the other day. I said, remember 10 years ago what we were talking about? Was, yeah, a kiln. He said, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So let's do it. So he's all over it. He's working on it. So sooner than later, we're going to be starting testing and trials, and we're going to make sure it's USDA certified, state certified.
Yeah.
So it'll have all the bells and whistles.
Wow. Quite the rollout happening then, huh?
Yeah, I don't sit still, Tucker. That's my problem. If you follow along long enough, you know that I don't sit still well. So, but
I don't
Josh and Janice Leach want to know if you got your splitter figured out, Tucker.
so still I have just the Home Depot Champion 27-ton box splitter. That's still what I run, and I run that thing into the ground. And once I got through my first probably 30 cord cut and split, it started wanting to cut out after 20 seconds of running, and that wasn't because of the pressure valve for the hydraulic fluid. It wasn't because of that. I fussed with that. I ran it loose. I ran it tighter. It wasn't that. So I took it to. I have a small engine guy. And he basically was like, okay, the last thing that I can think of is the engine oil sensor. So we drained all the engine oil and then looked up. It's got to be between zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.6 quarts of engine oil. So it's super tight. And we figured
Yep.
out I was using it so much, I was actually burning oil. So I have to just engine oil a little bit after like every 5-6 hours of use. So that's what it was.
Now there you go. So Brandon Fisher wants to know what the cost per cord to kiln dry the wood is going to be. Hopefully the cost per cord is only going to be the wood that's used because we're not grid tied. We'll have no electricity. So that's where I think this kiln is really going to come into play and be genius, is the fact that there's no electrical cost for it. We're going to be burning it on our wood scraps, so our offcut ends, our ugly pieces that we wouldn't send to a customer. That's what we're going to use to fire the kiln. So the wood cost is really minimal too, because that's the stuff that I sell for a pickup load. As much as they can put in a pickup, I sell it for $40. So if it takes me 2 pickup loads to dry 6 cords, it's $80 worth of wood. That's all I've got in it, besides my time.
You said $40 for a pickup load?
Yeah, for like the short ends and the offcuts and
Oh,
stuff like that. Not firewood.
I
Not
was
firewood. No.
nice for
Um,
Michigan is pretty crazy then.
yep. And then somebody asked what the price would be. So right now, our green wood is $325 a cord. Our seasoned wood is $390 a cord.
There you go.
Kiln dried is going to be $450 a cord. So it's going to be 60 more than seasoned. And we'll see.
Yeah, I've gotten all the way up to. I had a guy order 5 cords, um, and I was like, "All right, I can get that done. I have about 3," but he's like, "No, I want it all bigger split." So I was like, "Oh, all right," because I split all my stuff, pretty small, so I can just turn it over that much faster because it dries. But all the logs that I get are pretty much below 20% once I split them. It's really nice.
Yep.
This logger, I don't know. I'm getting a semi load of cherry tomorrow morning at 10. So I'm excited for that. But what was I getting to? Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Joe from Joe's Firewood, or Joe's Premium Firewood, wants to know if you got any hickory logs you can sell him.
I don't. I used to come and do a lot of hickory actually. With one of my buddies that was getting out of the business, he sold me all of his logs. And he did have a lot of hickory, but that's all done and sold. That's all
So
sold time
is
ago.
Matt Rubel your dad, Tucker?
Yeah, he said that because I was born in New Hampshire.
Oh, so you're from New England.
Yeah.
So we got Mrs. American Country 716 in here. James Munster's here, Symington Seasonal Services. Aaron Burford says, Tucker, my dog. Aaron follows a lot of my videos too. He's a good guy.
Yep, he comments on all my stuff. Really appreciate
Uh,
it.
Neighborly Homestead has a question for us. Let's see what your answer is versus my answer. What would you charge to deliver a tote of cherry firewood 33 miles?
A tote such as the face cord.
Yep.
So for cherry, I have a cherry listing. I sell cherry at 120 a face cord just for the wood, and then all my delivery is pretty standard. I just do 5 miles for free, and then every mile after that, I just charge $2 a mile. So 33, that's 28. So it'll be 166 for a face cord of cherry.
So $56 for delivery for you, and I'd be 65. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So anywhere from 56 to $65 for delivery, Tim, should be about normal.
yeah.
Bill Saflarski says you can unplug the low oil unit on your splitter and it should still run.
The low oil unit. Yeah,
So
is that like
this,
probably something with the sensor he's talking about then?
yep, yeah, it should be able to unplug it, and he says it'll still run.
Okay. So then it won't bug me if it gets a little
it
too low.
won't shut off if it's low on oil. It's going to keep running, so you're going to have to make sure you check your oil, but it won't bug you and give you the issues. But like Mike Carter said, if you're burning oil right now, it might be safer to leave it plugged in and just
Yeah,
deal with it. You know what it is if it starts having issues.
yeah. And I really don't have an issue if it does shut off. I know exactly why, and I'll just refill it. So
Firewood 50 says that Tucker's trying to beat him in the live streams. Are you guys having a contest?
we were actually tied. He popped into one of my lives one day, and I think it might have been 41 or 44 or something like that. We both had like exactly the same amount of streams, so it was like I said, 41 or 44, and he's like, "That's a coincidence," and I was like, "Yeah, we should try to keep it the same."
And
Haven't been
Josh,
streaming very often though.
yeah, Josh wants to know how you did with your bee sting from the other day.
Oh, that was so yeah. I'm splitting, and I'm on a live, and I had a smoothie that day, and the bees were out. I don't know why. That day was kind of bad. I have a lot of bees in my yard for sure, but I took a sip out of my straw, and I was like, "Oh, there must be like a piece of fruit in there or something," because it was like a hard, and it was like I was like, "Oh wow, I just got stung." And I spit
Ugh,
it out. It was a whole bee, and I had to go to class right after that. I went to class with like a lump in.
that that's no good.
Yeah.
It's that time of year that all those yellow jackets are around all the wood on the warm days. They're trying to get the sugar out of the sap that's in the wood. So,
And then when I have a smoothie right next to it, that doesn't do too much good.
right, right. Yeah, Denny Hart says, don't forget to double tap that screen and make sure you like it if you guys are following along. That just helps both of us. And for
Appreciate you.
anybody that's following here that doesn't already subscribe to Tucker's Timbers, make sure you go over and give Tucker a subscribe and follow along. He hustles with his firewood. He's at the point I was when I started. I didn't have a box store splitter, but I had my grandfather's homemade log splitter.
Oh,
And I ran that for I think 3 years before I upgraded and I went to a Timberwolf splitter. And then from the Timberwolf, I made a big jump and I went to a processor.
mm-hmm.
And we took off and ran. And then after the processor, we got a little too big too quick. And we almost ended up going belly up before it was all said and done. But we flipped back and took a step back and made it work.
That's what it's about. You gotta adapt. So I mean,
Yep. Yeah.
you gotta stick to it, no matter. Could be bad when it first starts out, but just gotta stick to it.
Firewood 50 says he's hoping to get a mini skid steer somewhere down the road. The mini skids are really nice for the firewood yard.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see where they would be handy. Mm, mm. Jason from Yadkin Valley Outdoors said he started firewood in the mid 80s. I was just a kid at that point, so I was probably running the handle of the splitter in the mid 80s, but I wasn't selling firewood yet. And Brandon Fisher said what I've told everybody all along. I tell everybody stay small, pay for it with cash as you go. He said too
Mm-hmm.
much too fast destroys a lot of people, and he's 100% right about that.
Tom, I'm keeping it a little on the secret. The only thing I've told people about the new piece of equipment is what I'm gonna call it. This week or next week. Um, it's just made by Timberwolf. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm trying to keep it put a little suspense on it.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm actually taking a trip, not this week, but next week, and I'm bringing home something new for our firewood yard too. And then I have another trip 2 weeks after that to bring home another new piece of firewood equipment for the yard. So we're gonna be hustling for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, Denny Hart, Graham is doing okay. Her and Gramp have kind of figured out a system now that her ankle is not quite as sore after surgery. So they're working on it. But tomorrow, I actually have to saw some of my own firewood, Tucker. I
Really?
haven't sawed any of my own firewood in years. Gramp does it all. So I got to
Wow.
fire the saw up and actually cut some wood for myself. I've cut wood at charity events and other things like that, but I haven't cut any for my business in a long time. So I'm going to have to actually do some work.
Yeah. And Joe, Western is clearly the superior team.
I don't know about that. Go Black Bears. Although we didn't look very good this weekend. Those games were terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I've yet to be. I go to Western right now, and I've yet to go to a hockey game yet this year.
We have season tickets to the UMaine games, so
Yeah.
we go to the UMaine games. My son turned 10, and we actually had a couple of the UMaine hockey players come over and play knee hockey with the kids at my son's birthday party. So that the kids all thought that was cool, and they were signing autographs for the kids. And
Yeah.
Let's
Need
see here. The semi to haul the containers. Now I don't need a semi to haul the containers. They're gonna stay plunked right on the ground, right where they are. We're gonna put stuff in them.
Yeah, it's crazy. When they delivered mine, I was expecting kind of a bigger ordeal or setup, but it was just a 3500. It's crazy.
Yeah, they brought it on a single axle truck because we got a 40-foot container and they had a single axle truck. He got stuck in the yard because it was a little bit soft, but let's see. Brandon says, "When are you getting your own log truck, Russ? Do you remember how to run a saw at this point, or was Alan's 3120 representative of Grant doing all the cutting?" That 3120. So we went to Boonville and I broke the hot saw. We got to play with some hot saws and the throttle cable broke on me. So they've been ribbing me ever since. But I know how to run a saw. I think I'll be okay. We'll figure it out.
Hey,
Robert Moore, yes, I am going to Bland County, Virginia. I will be down there not this week, but next week.
yeah, what's the next kind of event coming up? I know you were talking about something in Tennessee, was it?
Yep. So March 13th and 14th will be a firewood and sawmilling only show in Parsons, Tennessee. So this week I've got to send out a bunch of emails to vendors to find out who's interested in going and having booths set up there.
Yeah.
Twin Rivers Firewood, Marlon Petrie and his wife Emily, they're kind of heading up the whole event and getting everything set up. He's going to have honky tonk music and entertainment at night after the show, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, how do you, if you know, how do you like, I don't want to say start one of those things, but kind of like if I wanted to do one in like Michigan, me and I don't know if you know Ken from Mercury Garage, but we were talking
Yep.
about doing something here in Michigan. He was like, "Do you have guys that would bring equipment?" And I know a lot of people who have this one guy that helped me out when I was first starting out. When I didn't have all the supply, I bought already split wood and I just resold it. And he's got all these big pieces of equipment, feather bunchers, all this stuff. So I could probably like have the equipment. You know what I mean? It's just like the fact of putting it together and then getting it out there.
Yep. So
Kind of.
it's I'm gonna find out how it works. I've never done one myself, so this is kind of something that Marlon called me one day and he's like, "Hey, do you think anybody would be interested in this?" And I said, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see why not." And he said, "Let's just do it." So we're doing it. So with this, it's all brand new equipment that'll be for sale. But I know like Yadkin Valley Outdoors, he did what he just called a firewood fellowship,
Yeah.
and everybody brought their own equipment, their own stuff. They just got together and they made a bunch of firewood for the day and just hung out and had fun. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes those events are even more fun than the shows because you're just out there to have a good time and have fun. You're not dragging equipment trying to sell it. And,
Yep.
you know, it, the shows are a lot of work. That's one thing I've found out from kind of expanding with our YouTube and social media and being involved with the shows. I don't usually even get to walk the shows. I'm in whatever booth that I'm supposed to be in, and I stay so busy talking to people, I don't have time to go see what else is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm still obviously not big by any means, so I was walking around doing whatever, and it was kind of nice. Yeah, you got
yeah,
to.
I can't go anywhere without somebody knowing who I am now. So I can't go look at somebody's new machine and see what's going on. They're like, "What are you doing? What
Yeah,
are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I was looking, but
leave me alone.
yeah,
You just need to get somebody that looks exactly like you walking around in
yeah,
there.
doppelganger, yeah, absolutely." Or get a fake beard and put it on them and put them in a Willie's Firewood sweatshirt and send them. So, Josh and Janice said they're looking at weekend events for November. How's Gramps Woodshed looking? I don't know. With Grant being out of commission and everything going on, I'm not sure. Obviously, our house sale fell through, so now we're kind of back and forth here and there. Not really sure which way we're going, but when as soon as we have something possibly figured out, we'll be sure to let you know.
Joe, I'm only 19, so that'd be kind of tricky.
Yeah, gonna got a couple years to think about what he wants when he delivers up that way. Symington Seasonal says they need a gathering in the Northeast. So there's a gentleman in Massachusetts who has a 75-acre farm, and he has offered to open the farm up to us, supply all the wood, get everything situated if we want to do a firewood and sawmill only show up in the Northeast for the New England area.
Wow.
So that's something that we're possibly looking at. I don't think it'll be this coming year, but possibly the year after. It would be nice to have a firewood only event kind of scattered around the country,
Mhm.
because when you go to the big shows like Bunyan, there's so much other stuff that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily pertain to firewood.
wood chips and
Yeah. You don't need a great big biomass chipper tucker?
how
No?
much I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. There's this big white one. That big white machine. You know what
Yep.
brand that is? How
Yep.
much something like that cost?
Oh, you're probably a million plus.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god. It's crazy. It's crazy to think like how commercial some of this stuff is, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're gonna buy that big of a machine, it's nuts.
It's different scales. So even with the firewood stuff, if you look at some of the firewood manufacturers that make equipment, there's a company out of Italy. Trying to think of the name of them. That Pezzolato.
Mhm.
They don't even really want to talk to you unless you're doing at least 3,000 cords a year,
That's
because
crazy.
their machines, the amount of firewood that they produce, and what they'll actually do, they said it doesn't make sense unless you're doing at least 3,000 cord a year.
And that's like 3 plus processors. Yeah,
Oh
there's no
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, no one that can do that.
Oh, Brandon Fisher. I think he's got a man crush on you. He's stout, mature man for 19, only 3 years older than his boys. Brandon's a good boy. He's out in Alaska. He's
Yeah.
become a pretty good friend. I like Brandon.
Wow. Well, I appreciate it, Brandon. Alaska.
Yep, yeah, he's early afternoon out there.
Yeah, I bet. I heard they burn pallets out there.
Yeah, they got a lot of birch and stuff out there too. Birch is a big firewood out in that area. Brandon, there's plenty of guys even in my area doing 3,000 plus cord a year. So it's pretty interesting to see the different see the different machines and how they're set up. Yeah, birch and spruce for Brandon Fisher.
Yeah, 3,000 in at least where I am in Southwest Michigan. There's nobody even close. Like I think like the 3,000 is crazy. There's
Joe,
no
I'll have to have you on a live some night, and we can see if we can figure out why everybody picks on you so bad. I see you out there working and hustling, and I think if you're out there working and hustling that bad, the heck with everybody else. They burn a lot of spruce in parts of Alaska. Well, their spruce is harder than our spruce because it grows so slow. So it's a lot denser than the spruce
Mm,
we have in the States. So, and you got to burn what you've got. I mean, if you don't have oak and cherry and
exactly.
everything else, you burn what you have for trees. Yeah. Yadkin Valley says he doesn't want to do 3,000 cord. Less is more. And that's kind of where we are. We switched to restaurants and stuff to limit our volume. I
Yep.
mean, I'm either going to play with the guys that are trying to sell 3,000 cord a year. Or I've got to do something different. So, the cooking wood in the restaurants was a good move for us.
Yeah, I do one restaurant. I've been doing them for I think it was my ninth delivery this month. I deliver to him every month.
Yep. Wooly's burning pine right now. He said, "Oh no." So my dad's father growing up, it didn't matter what kind of tree it was. He burned it all in his wood stove. As long as it's dry, it doesn't matter. You're just going to get less BTUs out of some of the different types of woods. So,
Because pine, to my understanding at least, pine smokes more, obviously, or is it just when it's wet?
yeah, you get a little more smoke because of the sap and the resin.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's dry, it's not going to do any damage to your chimney or anything like that. The biggest thing is, burning dry wood, so you're not getting the creosote buildup in your chimney because that's what's going to start a chimney fire. Especially
Yep.
if you start burning softwood and stuff like that. So Josh and Janice said they need to take a ride to Belly of the Beast. That's the barbecue restaurant that I supply the oak to. We
Uh-huh.
stopped there today, Josh and Janice. It was terrible. You wouldn't have liked it. I ate everything before we left. It was awful. I don't think it's worth the ride. Brandon says, thinking of his average stand, it's only 300 acres of clear cutting. So, yeah, the stands of timber are different. So, like, I'm going to Virginia. We're going to do some logging in Virginia. The
Hmm.
trees down there are bigger than anything I have up here. So, it's going to be completely different. So,
Okay.
I'm not going to be dropping or felling some of these trees, especially if it's a walnut or a white oak that's worth big money. I'll let it hit the ground and then I'll limit and I'll bucket, but I'm not going to ruin somebody's veneer tree or something like that.
No.
John Solomon said he's got cottonwood in southern Minnesota. So cottonwood and poplar both stink really bad, and they're both terrible firewood, but they'll burn. If that's what you got, that's what you got.
I was splitting wood. Have you ever heard of like a wood that kind of smells cinnamony when you split it?
So up here, some of our birches smell like mint, like peppermint. When you
Yeah.
split them, they've got a minty scent to them, but I haven't seen anything with cinnamon, not in our area anyway.
Put my finger on it because it's really tough. It's tough and stringy like hickory, but the whole color of the inside is kind of like just like a dark tan type of color. I don't know how to. It's like a little bit lighter than like walnut, and I honestly can't put my finger on it.
Yeah. So Roger Austin asked, doesn't softwood produce more BTUs? Obviously, it burns faster. It's actually the density of the wood that determines the BTUs. So it's a much softer wood, so it's less dense. There's less BTUs per pound. So softwood does not, it produces more heat quicker than hardwood, but it's a lot shorter burn time because it's just not as dense. So you don't wear gloves doing firewood either, Tucker?
Not at
Me
all.
either. And I get picked on all the time for it, and apparently so do you.
I know I have a guy that comes by my live stream every time, and the one thing he says is, he's like, "No gloves again, love it," or something like that.
Yep.
But then
I can't feel or grab the wood with gloves on. I feel like I don't like it.
I've developed what I would consider to be thick skin, so it doesn't really affect me anymore. But if I get a splinter, I just rip it out. But I had a lady on one of my lives telling me I needed to wear a helmet, and I'm using a champion box splitter. And I'm like,
So
I
in
just
Europe, safety is big. In Europe, they'll wear a helmet with muffs and the face shield when they're running a log splitter over in Europe. It's just
really
kind of one of the things they do. Oh,
wow.
we got a couple new super chats. We got a $20 super chat from Robert Daigle and a $10 super chat from Florida Firewood. Did you happen to see Foothill Firewood's video about the big wood today?
I didn't know.
I did not either, but I did see some clips of him weighing those great big rounds. He had some like 3 foot long pieces, and the 3 foot long pieces of white oak weighed like 1,600 pounds
What was
for
the
a 3 foot
diameter?
chunk, about 40-inch diameter.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how he's kind of made his YouTube channel, is
Yeah,
beating the snot out of that little 28 Pro that he has.
I see
And
of him just getting the wood dropped wherever he
yep.
huge.
Yeah, I don't like messing with that big stuff. It's hard. If it's the only thing I could get, then one thing, but
Yeah, exactly. And it's tough where I am because like there's loggers and stuff, but it's either you got to deal with a guy who is just all over the place, or you got to give up some of the quality. But the guy I found right now is really really good, and he'll be with me tomorrow. But it's definitely tough because there's not as many loggers up here. I feel at least I don't know where they're at.
yeah, we don't have them here either. I've got 2 or 3 places that I can reliably look to.
Yeah,
And if they ever fell through, I have a cable skidder still. I can go into the woods and cut my own, but every day that I spend in the woods cutting is time I take away from processing. So
and that can't happen when you get as big as you're getting.
no, at the size I'm at, I don't think I could log enough to keep up with what we produce.
Yeah.
So it would pose an issue if we lost a source.
How many cord a year
And
you averaging right? I think?
we do about 600 to 700 out of our yard.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I buy wood from 2 other yards that do all of our restaurant wood. So I've got John over in Corinth and I've got Robert in Hamden. And they both produce restaurant wood for us. So all of our restaurant wood comes from there. So,
You're buying it
you know,
already split or just
it's
long?
already cut, split, and dry. I just go load the trailer and off we go.
That is not
They both like producing firewood, but they don't want to deal with customers. So
exactly.
I'm their only customer.
Well, that's all you need. It's a pretty big customer.
Yep, it works good. I like it. I enjoy it. So
Yeah, yeah, 50. I've had Firewood 50. I have steel toes, but I like to convince myself that they don't give me the mobility that I can have and I know I should wear steel toes. And I do when it's cold out. I put my merino wool socks on and I put my steel toes on, but I get a lot. That's the biggest like PPE thing that I get is you're not wearing any boots. But I have limited chaps too lately because I heard you were talking. It might have been talking to me at Paul Bunyan or something, but talking about how chaps really aren't gonna stop a saw. It might limit.
With a big commercial saw, especially these guys that are decking and porting them,
Yeah,
it may slow it down, but it's not going to stop it. So it's you got to be careful. Those chainsaws, they don't cut, they tear. So if
yeah.
you do catch yourself, it's not a fun accident.
Oh,
I know Josh and Janice Leach, they're paramedics that are on here, and one of the things they said is that everybody that runs a saw should have some sort of tourniquet in their first aid pack, because if you ever slip.
yeah. They're not very forgiving.
Josh and Janice got an order for 22-inch fireplace wood. That's disgusting. I hate big long wood. That's heavy.
Joe, my name is just Tucker's Timbers, like it is on my hat. Definitely YouTube. I'm a YouTube heavy kind of guy.
See, I'm doing a lot more with Facebook lately, and Facebook's growing really fast.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I like better. It's quicker to do the reels for Facebook, 100%, but I like the long form video and I like the community aspect of the YouTube.
Exactly.
So it's something I got to try to get better.
Yeah, and you got less random people on YouTube. Yeah, but
Right.
Facebook is definitely a bigger platform because everybody and their mother has Facebook. So that's I would definitely say stick to that because
Well, not enough firewood says that I help at least one person every day and that I'm a good guy, and you're on your way to doing great things too. So he must like what we're doing. Well, thank you very much, Robert. Appreciate that.
he commented on one of my videos today or yesterday. I'm not sure what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, Pops, I love those socks.
Let's see. So Roger Austin just subscribed to you. Brandon
Appreciate
Fisher says, I need you on my customer list, Russ. Could get ahead on drying wood. We're going to put up 150 cord in 3 weeks. Don't like dealing with customers. Now we got to figure out shipping. I think going from Alaska to Maine with firewood would be a little bit much.
a little stretch.
Yeah. So Firewood 50, I don't like the PPE police either, but one of the things that I've realized now that I'm bigger in social media than when I started, there are so many little kids that watch what I'm doing and that see what I'm doing. And in all honesty, I'm no better than anybody else with any chainsaw, no matter how long I've run it. All it takes is one mistake and one slip up. So for them to see that having that PPE gear, whether it be chainsaw pants or whatever it is, it's a good thing to get in the habit of. And when you see my videos when I'm in Virginia, you're gonna realize, I'm wearing that stuff. One for me and two for them.
My girlfriend's in here and she's scoffing at me right now.
Oh, you put her on the screen. I bring my wife on all the time. You put her right on the spot.
I would get absolutely. I'd get whooped. We'll just say that. I wouldn't do that to her.
Yeah, I know the back brace. Brandon Hode's always after me about a back brace. You only get one back, and I've had back issues before, but I don't know. I don't like the way a back brace feels. It really affects my range of motion, and I'm not comfortable with one on. If there was one that was more comfortable, then yeesh.
Yeah, back brace does not sound very mobile.
Well, it helps. I can definitely feel the help, but I don't know. I feel like it limits my lower back's range of motion too much, and I don't know. But tomorrow's video, when everybody sees the long form video, there's a very sad thing in the front yard of our place right now, and we're gonna fix it. So yeah, better than my back did a month ago. Brandon, see, he's picking on me because I threw my back out. He's right. It does feel much better. Does feel much better.
Yeah,
But
one of my subscribers came into my my comments one day. He said he made a handle extension for his splitter, and he said it's a game changer on your back because you don't realize how much you're dipping down.
yep.
I just took some some piping that we use for the electrical, for the shipping container, and I snipped some of it, and I made probably a foot and a half long, just put it over the handle, and I
Yep.
can split it from right here now. It's crazy. It does actually make a big difference.
That's one of the reasons that I bought the all wood log splitter when I bought it, is because of the height of it. I'm tall like you are. I do not have to bend over at all at any point in time to run the machine. My back thanks me so much at the end of the day for it.
Yeah, you don't notice it, but when you make that change, you're like, wow, I was kind of like hinged over
Yep.
a little bit the whole time, but
So 765 guys. Ryan and I miss being on the podcast too. So I will have Ryan live with me next Wednesday and next Sunday. Not this coming, but the next. Because we'll be in Virginia with Ryan. So we've got some stuff that we're going to be kind of rolling out and letting people know about when we're down there in Virginia. So stay tuned for that stuff. Roger Austin says a conveyor is a back saver. My firewood conveyor is my favorite piece of commercial firewood equipment that I ever bought. You
oh,
don't
wow.
realize how hard it is on your shoulders and your elbows throwing all that wood until you don't have to do it. And then at the end of the day, you get done and you're like, man, I don't hurt right now. This is weird.
One day for me, one day.
Marketplace. I started with an old junk conveyor, and the conveyor I have now is it's homemade by a gentleman here in the state, but it's not anything fancy. It does a great job.
Yeah. Is it just a hay bale conveyor? Or is it strictly firewood or?
Mine's strictly firewood. It's a rough top rubber belt, kind of like the new one that Wolfridge made. They had that new conveyor that Dan from Back 40 was trying.
Mhm.
Had a rough top belt on it 15 years ago when the guy built it. That was just how he made it. So, um, iffy kid, Gramp does not count as an employee for me. Kevin would. So Kevin would need safety equipment, but because Gramp is family and I own the business, he doesn't fall under the qualification of an employee, at least here in Maine. With OSHA, he might get some of that stuff, but I don't think so. I'd work my way around it. Yeah, Garrett's elbow's still sore from chucking wood yesterday. So, oh, Joe's still here, and Joe says you got to smash that like button. Joe's
Well,
hanging around.
we do have 85 people and only 50 likes.
Yep, I know. It's the way it works. It's okay. I loathe belt conveyors for firewood. So I will say right now, Tucker, if you get a belt conveyor, you're in an area that it snows like I do too. In the wintertime, when it gets frosty and icy and the wood is frosty and icy, that belt conveyor is just like a slip and slide.
Really,
The wood will get almost to the top of it and then it just comes straight back down.
really,
And it'll slam into the other wood that's coming up and you'll pinch fit. It's dangerous.
really.
So I take washer fluid and I pour washer fluid on the rough top belt just to melt it off and then we're good to go.
That's interesting. That's a good heads up, honestly.
So, yeah, the chain conveyors for areas that it snows and that you get ice, the chain conveyors, the two chain conveyors with the bars in the center, much, much better solution. They're noisier to listen to, but they carry the wood a lot better.
Okay, it's good to know. Heavier duty too, overall.
Yeah, they're heavier duty. They're just noisier because you get the metal chain running around. So you get that squeaking and squealing. And it's just, yeah. Yeah. Ken says his elbow hurts from watching me fix the light in the basement. I don't know if you were watching my videos back then, but I stove my elbow up and I had a great big goose egg and I fell off a ladder right onto the concrete
Oh,
floor in the basement. And man, oh man, didn't that hurt.
no thanks.
Matt, I will have a multi conveyor set up soon because we have the tumbler that goes with the Cord King firewood processor. So we'll have a multi conveyor set up fairly soon. And it's not going to be a traditional one because we're going to have a gas powered unit and a hydraulic driven unit. So we're going to piece together with what we have because I don't like to spend money. I sit by the wood stove when it's cold and snowy too, but sometimes people run out of wood. Uh,
Way too much.
thinking
Oh, shit.
You mount some angle iron to the belt about 5 feet apart. You could probably put some cleats on the rough top belt. The problem is it has rollers on the bottom of the rough top belt that carry it coming back. And when it hits those rollers, I don't think it would work as far as carrying the wood along. The rough top belts have to have a flat surface both ways to ride. So what are your plans to grow your business going forward, Tucker?
Well, this new piece of equipment, it's gonna come in, and then me and Dad just cleared a lot of land out behind all my stacked wood that I'm gonna sell this winter. So I have about 6 cord of all white oak and cherry and a little bit of hickory mixed in there. So I'm gonna sell that for a pretty penny, probably in the dead of winter. And right now I'm planning to hopefully get when I get this new piece of equipment just absolutely stock up for the wintertime, because with that cleared land, we're building new pallet storage right now. And we're thinking about building some sort of structure off of the shipping container to cover that for the
Yep.
wintertime. So hopefully in the winter, I can just move that kind of 5, 6 cord that I have right now onto pallets, and then it'll kind of just stay covered. And that's what I plan on just keeping until January, something like that, and then I can sell at a high price, because I have a lot of customers from last year who only have like storage. They can only fit about a face cord at a time, whether that's in their garage or next to their stove or and whatnot. So they need to like restock during the winter, which sucks. But that's kind of what happens around me, because there's a lot of like smaller little city type homes, so they can't fit a full cord of wood in there. So I have to keep that stuff for them, especially. So but
Yep.
yeah, I'm building 2 brand new bins right now, and then I'm expanding my so I have a oak. My wood yard's laid out like a cherry bin, an oak bin, and then I have those stacks of cords that I'm gonna sell in the winter, and then the shipping container, and then a big, huge just hardwood bin, kind of general hardwoods. So I'm gonna push the oak bin back, and that's gonna hold. I don't even know. We're gonna see how high we can stack it for sure, and I might cover it. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure yet. That'll probably hold. It'll be really a lot of pallets. I don't know, 9 cord, 10 cord. It's gonna
Yep.
be bin. So that's
So
kind
we got away from bins and away from pallets as far as stacking on, or at least I did, because up here when you get snow and ice and they're frozen in the ground, now you got to trip over them the rest of the winter.
of.
So I started using cinder blocks and 2x4s, and
Yeah.
you can stand 2x4s up in the cinder blocks and then run them across.
Uh
And
huh.
then as you're done, you can just pick them up, move them out of the way.
You stack.
Um, so yeah, so if you got a cinder block, you got the holes in a cinder block. You took two four
Oh,
foot pieces of 2x4 and set them down in it,
yeah,
and then you run the other ones across to the other block. So each section holds a true third of a cord or a face cord,
yeah,
and you can just stack them. And then as you use them, you just move them out of the way.
yeah,
Because when we were doing it, we'd just back the dump trailer up. I know the dump trailer holds 2 full cords. We'd stack down through, and we did that. We did it for a while, but I hate stacking. I
yeah,
hate storing firewood. I want to cut it, split it, and get rid of it. So that's why the kiln, I can cut it, split it, put it in the container, and then as soon as the container's done, I can just put it in the trailer and go deliver it. I don't want to have to stack it.
yeah,
So this is the timber cat. This is Jasmine. She always comes onto the live to get scratches, and then she'll go away.
yeah. I'm definitely stacking. I started out, when I was small, just stacking everything.
I
Because
saw her. She was
what
on the camera, Tucker. I saw her. It's all over now. Busted.
she is busted.
Yep, busted.
Where is it? Oh.
See, there she is.
I'm so embarrassing. But yeah,
my wife says the same thing until she sees the money that the firewood makes, and then it's not so embarrassing anymore.
what exactly?
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, she doesn't want to admit it, but she knows it's true.
Yep.
Yeah, but with stacking, it definitely looks better for marketing. So with those stacks that I have right now, I took a whole bunch of pictures before I rip them all down,
Yep.
because I feel like, especially where I am, if people are just buying face cords for like right by their house that they're going to burn in a campfire, or maybe they have a little fireplace, they want it to look good, so they want to know what it looks like stacked up. So that's kind of my mindset on stacking, but I'm not going to do it anymore. That's for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah. No, I like the way the stacked wood looks. And you can fit more in the yard than
Yep.
just a big loose pile.
Yep.
And I find up here a big loose pile, you always get some mold and some stuff like that in the center of the piles. Even in a big open area, I don't get enough wind flow to keep it dried out like Chris in the wood yard.
Yep.
I see all their piles when they're tearing into them, they're dry all the way through. And I'm like, man, that would be so nice if that would
Yeah.
happen up here, but it does not happen here.
Yeah, the spot I have, well, lately we got poured on for like 4 straight days. Like it did not stop raining. So, um, I had to deliver to this little it's called Fort Custer, and I delivered to them, and I was like, okay, so you guys have a fire going right now, right? And they were like, yep. So I'm like, okay, when I get there, I'm gonna put a few pieces basically in and around the fire because it rained, and like you know that it rained and it's gonna be wet on the exterior, and they're like, yeah, oh, we're pros, we're good, we're good. And I'm like, okay, well, I got there and I stoked a fire for them. I made it like good, and then I was like, "You're all good." And then I left, and then the next day I get a text from one of them, and they're like, I was wondering if you could come swap out some of these logs for some drier ones. We're having," and I'm like, "I told you, like, come on."
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. I have people all the time, even though we sell green wood in the winter, we're
mm-hmm,
dropping off green wood. It's still green wood. And they're like, but it's got snow and ice on it. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah. And they're like, well, we thought it wasn't going to have snow and ice on it. Well, I have 150 cordy logs in the yard. I can't store those inside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, well, I wish we had known. The picture has snow and ice on it, so I mean, it's what you're getting, but you're going to get that everywhere you go. I mean, it's just one of those things, and that's one of the reasons that I went to just Greenwood. Nobody can complain. It's advertised as green, so if it's drier than normal, great. But if not, that's fine too.
And if you're that big, and the name of the game when you get bigger is just to move wood.
Volume.
So
Yep.
it's you have to, yeah, like you said, all green. You do lose that price, obviously, but it is a lot easier. I'll say that you don't have to
For
worry.
us, we have to move. We've got to move 12 to 15 full cords a week. That's kind of where our process is at and where our bills and overhead is at. We've got to do 12 to 15 cord a week or something else to make up that money somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Because I've got a sawmill, so we do some sawmilling. And I also sell some equipment. So the equipment sales pays much better, but the equipment sales are further and fewer between. So
Mm.
we try to make up one way or the other.
Yeah, I sold 2 cords Saturday, and then I have 2 cords of cherry going out on Tuesday, and then the weekend I have 2 more cords, and then I have another cord scheduled for the next weekend. So, and then face cords are sprinkled in there. I like the face cords because my margins are so much better with my
Yep.
delivery fee and stuff like that. So, but I definitely don't mind because I'll stack for free. I stack a face cord for free because figured out people would much rather pay a delivery fee than a stacking fee. So that's kind of just I just swap those. I used to deliver for a lot less and charge like 15-20 bucks to stack, but
Mind games. Mind games. Look at you go.
it works though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
So,
don't mind the dump aspect. It's just the loading that
yep.
does kind of get. I swear I'll have a trailer and I'll keep throwing wood in there and keep tossing it, and it's like this trailer is not getting any more full at all. It's
Yep.
just still.
Sometimes it happens. You go to load them and yeah, you don't know.
It's the worst. That's the worst feeling.
Yep. So that's one of the things that I did in my little series on Facebook about starting a firewood business. I told everybody on day 8 if I had it to do over again, I'd make bins or containers that held a quarter, a third, or a half of a cord, and I'd set up with like a mini skid or an off-road pallet jack or something to be able to put that wood right where they want it, all stacked. And that's the way that I would do firewood. It would
Yeah.
be less volume but higher profit margins, so I wouldn't need to do as much wood to make the same amount of money.
Yep, and everybody's just it's so much more neat and
Yep.
yeah. That's what I have a lot here is people that just want it to look good, honestly. They don't really care about the quality. It's nuts, but I'm not gonna complain about those kind of customers, that's for sure.
So Joseph Grande's got 7,000 cords of firewood in stock. I think he's got us both beat, Tucker.
Yeah. Wow.
7,000 cord of firewood's about 10 years worth of firewood for me right now. So you can have that. As much as I'd love to tell you I'd like to do 7,000 cord a year, I don't. I have no desire to do 7,000 cord a year.
That is crazy. The amount of just sheer logs that you gotta be able to. That's crazy.
Yep. So Josh and Janice Leach are looking at buying foundation blocks. So you can buy super blocks, the big stackable concrete blocks. They're like 2 foot by 4 foot by 3 foot. And they've got a groove, a V groove that they set on top and they lock in so they can't slide and move.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to put in between the two containers. We're going to split it halfway in between, and I'm going to have one side for green wood and one side's going to be for the kiln dried wood, so
Yeah,
that we can have 2 piles and be processed ahead.
that's what I'm looking at doing with these new bins, is selling kind of left to right, so it's oldest to newest.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the way that we used to do it when I did seasoned wood. We'd start at one end stacking, and we'd work down, and then we'd take from the opposite end and take the dry and go.
Yep.
It works, but once you get past, I feel like once you get past probably 75 to 100 full cord a year, it's really, really too hard, especially for one person or even for a couple of guys to keep up with anything more than that. If you're going to try to cut it, split it, stack it, season it, deliver it, and rotate it,
Yep.
75 to 100 cords kind of where you're tapping out at, unless you got some better system figured out than I could ever figure out.
It's crazy. That's me thinking about seven. I can't even picture 7,000 cords of wood.
Yeah.
That's
I know what 1700 cord of wood was. We did 1700 and some change on my busiest year that we ever had, and I know how busy I was doing that because we were all single cord deliveries, and whew, it was not fun, not fun at all.
20 cord a day. Wow.
Do you think getting IBC totes is a good move or a bad move? IBC totes are good, but they're really expensive in my area where I am. So for me, where I have a sawmill, what I would do is make wooden pallets or crates. Kind of, I don't know if any of you guys watch Allen Family Firewood. They've got the half cord crates that they use and they break down flat when they're done. I'd do something along that line.
Yeah, I tried. Well, obviously, I don't have the machinery to do totes, but I put one out by the road and I sold it for way too cheap. And actually, Ken from Mercury Garage bought the tote off of me. I got it for $10, and I put it by the side of the road. I sold a face cord for $50. I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, whatever, let's try it. And of course, it sold like crazy. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this. So that's right when I was starting out. Obviously, I was still trying to figure everything out.
So the easiest way that I've ever found to tell anybody is whatever you get your tree length logs in for price, you have to double your log price to even be able to begin
And
to break even.
yep, I more than triple.
Yep.
I more than triple.
Triple would be good, but double if you're going to move volume will keep enough volume moving and it's going to keep enough meat there that you can still go. But you gotta really watch what you're doing. Firewood does not have big margins and it doesn't take a lot of screw ups to start losing money.
Exactly. Got to stick to your system for sure.
Oh, somebody saw her walk by again in the comments. She's not doing very good at hiding, Tucker. Not you. Tucker's girlfriend's trying to stay out of the camera, but she's walked by a few times. They pay attention really good in the lives.
She is texting me right now.
She could probably just sign language. I don't know sign language, but I'm sure she could sign something.
Oh, whoa! Not that sign language.
The totes be great for drying because the wood would stack easy in the kiln. Yep. So I want to do the wooden crates in the kiln, Connor, because we have a small tractor. So the little tractor I have will fit in the crate no problem. And I want to make smaller crates that I can pick up with our small tractor and handle easily. So I'm still kind of designing and drawing and figuring out what we're going to do. But I'm excited to start the whole kiln project. That's going to be a fun thing. If you're getting logs for free, Firewood 50, here's what I'm going to tell you. Unless they're decent firewood size poles, they're not free logs. So the big giant tree service logs take 2 to 3 to 4 times the amount of time to process between cutting and splitting. So if you're getting wood for free and it's that larger diameter stuff, figure out how long it's taking you to actually produce a cord of wood. Once you can actually produce that cord of wood, then you can put a price to it.
Yeah, I don't do free wood anymore.
The free woods, I try to tell people, and I tell them, and I tell them, and I tell them, the free wood is not free. It's very expensive.
The first time I ever bought logs, he advertised them as, 12-inch diameter to 15, and I wasn't there when he dropped them. Big mistake.
Probably 2 foot plus diameter.
Oh my gosh, he dropped me a coin, literally a coin. It was probably 40 inches. And he's like, well, at least it's already cut for you. And I'm like, dude, like, seriously? That's
Yeah.
before I had anything. Like, I had a mall. I was running my business with an axe. That's how I started. I was playing college football, and I would come home on the weekends and split wood with an axe, and then I would sell it. It was a little side hustle, $200 a weekend. That was it. But
So your dad said that you need less touches in your process in the yard, and that's where processor grade logs, even for a log splitter, make the most sense in the world. And I'll argue that with anybody until I'm blue in the face.
yeah,
The big rounds, yes, they make a lot of wood. The big rounds are hard on machines, they're hard on your body. They take a ton of resplits, they take a ton of time. If I can push it once through my 4-way, my 6-way, or my 8-way and never have to touch it again, I'm
resplit,
so much faster. So much faster.
not even close. It's satisfying too, in a way. You're just moving.
Yep.
You're in your kind of your flow
And
state, and you're just going, and it's really sad.
instead of wondering if that top piece of that round's going to come back and crush you when it lands back because it weighs 450 pounds and you're trying to keep your hands and your digits out of the way.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah, when I get these, I'm really excited tomorrow. I'm getting this cherry load. I love it because I see they're perfect. I'm like, yeah, that's one, maybe two splits, and then it's gone. Like, it's perfect. Get excited about that stuff.
yep. So Firewood 50, if you're too far, find a tree service guy with a grapple truck that has to come back by your area and tell him whenever he's in the area, one of those loggers, to pick a load up and bring it back to you. Pay the other guy to do the trucking. So there's ways to work around any of this. I actually had a guy, I think he was in Louisiana, and I was talking to him, and he said that he couldn't get wood where he was at. He said, I can't get wood. He said, we've got loggers here, but they won't deliver it to me. And I told him, I said, find a guy with a grapple truck at a tree service and tell him you'll pay him to go get it. And he found a tree service guy, and the guy went and got it, and the guy only wanted like $100 for a load, and they only charged him $150 for the load of logs, and he got like 6 full cords out of it. So he got 6 full cords for $250. I was like, holy smokes. He goes, yeah. He said, they told me I can have all I want as long as I truck it myself. He goes, and this other guy's fine with it because he's got to go by every day. So he's getting wood for literally peanuts now. And he's got a great business built because nobody else has figured out to call the truck and have somebody else truck it for him.
That is crazy.
Brandon Fisher says we need to learn how to split with explosives and that big stuff wouldn't be so bad. Have a good one, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. He contracts his 9-cord truck for $400 a load within his area. And that's roughly what they charge in my area too, is about $400 to haul a load of firewood. It's kind of all the same price up here too, as far as that goes.
That's
But
really sad, to be honest.
So what are you paying for a cord of logs out where you are right now?
110 or 100.
Oh, you're quite a bit cheaper even than I am. I'm paying anywhere from 145 to 175 a cord, depending on what it is.
And I can get split wood for $175 a cord.
But is it decent quality, or do you got to go back through and resplit everything?
I have to resplit, but I can definitely pick through and get. If I buy a 3-cord load, it was that big truck. Remember, I posted short.
Yep.
That was it, and there is some bigger split stuff, and that was perfect because talking about that 5-cord order that I had, I bought that dump truck load for that 5-cord order, so I filled most of it, and I was getting $500 a cord for that big 5 cord order, so I just straight up resold it. But yeah, I can pick through probably and get a cord and a half of perfect my kind of textbook splits, but there is some really big kind of stuff in there that I have to deal with. But and that's
Yep.
that's last resort for sure.
So we're in overtime now, Tucker. I usually go about an hour. So if people want to stay on a little longer, I have no issue staying on a little bit longer.
Nowhere
But
to
yeah, I'm home, so I don't have anywhere to be either. So it works out for me.
yeah.
I know I've got, let's see what I've got coming up. So in February, that's our first show of the year. We're heading to Oregon to the Eugene Loggers Council out in Oregon. And we're going to unveil something new at the Eugene Loggers Council. And it's going to be something that nobody has ever seen before. I know you and I kind of talked about it a little bit at Bunyan, but I'm cautiously optimistic that it might be something good. We'll see.
I'll say.
Wise choice. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. And Brandon says he's still good to go because Sean is not there with dinner yet, so he's on for a little while longer.
Yeah, so back to the logs and stuff like that. I was gonna buy 20 cord. It was 20 to 25 cord, but they said they measure it, so they'll give me the exact measurement. We can talk about the prices when they load it up, and then but they gave me this rough estimate, and it ended up coming out to like $4,600 or something like that for 20 cord, and so that's like, what is that? Is that $200 per cord?
200 about $230 a cord.
On the phone, I'm like, guys, I can get a load of split wood for $175 a cord, and I just don't understand it because it was this conversation. We got to talk and it was really good. I told him I'm in college, I'm doing this, whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'll lower the price," and I'm like, "Cool, what'll it be?" And he's like, he pops that, and I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" It's just
Yeah.
crazy how some of
So
the
yeah, I've got the same thing. I've got some big producers up by here that will ship in live floor loads, so you can buy 15 cord loads of all cut and split firewood already. The price they want, it's like more than what I charge my normal customers, and they're like, "Oh, but we're cutting you a deal because you're buying 15 cord at a time." I'm like, "It's more than I charge my normal customer already. I can't buy that and lose money."
I feel like they just slap that line on there whenever they feel like it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy. The bottom dollar I would spend per cord of logs would be free, would be my bottom dollar. But typically for me, the cheapest that I get firewood logs up here is about $140 a cord right now. When I started 15 years or so ago selling firewood, we were paying $80 a cord for our logs. So it's gone up, not quite double, but close.
that's nice. Yeah, and it's cool to see like you're charging 390 for a cord of dry wood, and I'm charging like 355, and then maybe delivery depending how far it is.
Yep.
I could tweak that based on the mileage, but it's great because you buy for 140 and I buy for 110, so that's literally that gap right there.
Yep.
Is
You're keeping right in line with where it should be.
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes when people tell me what they're getting and it's way under what I am, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, that's not good. I was like, you might want to raise that price up. Oh no, I'm selling all kinds right now. Yeah, you are because you're losing money. You need to raise your price. And they're
Yeah.
like, no, I'm making money. I'm making money. And then next year you don't see them around anymore, and they're
One
out of business.
Yeah, I initially thought that when I get this new piece of equipment, I'm gonna drop my prices, but then I'm like, why would I do that? Because
Nope.
I'll move more, but then it puts me in jeopardy of needing to buy more logs and then taking more time. So, and because I still work a day job Thursday, Friday, and I go to school 3 days a week, so it's like every waking second already that I have extra time is already spent splitting in the wood yard and stuff like that. So it's like I can't afford to up my volume quite yet. So
Yeah. So firewood 50, I said earlier, whatever you're paying for your logs, double your log price. That's going to have to be your minimum cord price. Then put your delivery on top, or if you're doing a special size or a special split, make sure you get your time accounted for, and then do what you can. And it's one of those deals where if it's free wood, like I said, you've got to figure out what it's taking you for time to produce a cord of wood, because that free wood is usually a lot more labor and time. Somebody wants to know what type of firewood we use. I'll let you go first, Tucker.
I don't really use firewood to be honest, but if I had to choose, I would definitely do cherry. Cherry and probably locust. I like black locust a lot. I like the lightweight of it. I don't know why, and I like the wood. I like to work with it. Splitting it's easy. So I like that, and the BTUs are really nice on both of those woods. But the cherry, I like the smell of for sure. Black locust, I just kind of like it. I don't know why.
Yeah. So up here, I like beech. We've got a lot of beech up here. Beech burns really hot, burns for a long time.
Yeah.
If I had my rathers, I would do beech. I like ash just because it dries so quick. So we still have plenty of ash in our area, and it's still alive. So it splits easy, it cuts easy. It's really nice to work with when you're making firewood.
Yeah, so it's funny you say beach because I do a chainsaw service. I have two scheduled right now, and I've done I think three, and I charge $100 an hour. If you need me to bring my splitter, I bring my splitter. But it's most of the time it's just chainsaw and stuff like that. And the first service I ever did, I was working a trail clearing job, and the neighbors came over on a golf cart, and they picked me up, and they said, "We're going to show you this because we have some work for you." So they drove me down their driveway, and they showed me all this beach laying down, and I'm like, "This could make really good firewood for you guys," and I'm trying to sell it too. And they had some cherry logs. I was like, I could easily bring my. It's like 5 minutes from my house, so I'm like, I could easily wheel my splitter down here, and that's just when I had my steel 311. So I really had to work to sharpen that chain up to make myself worth their time. Um, but yeah, that was good. And then now I'm doing I got my 500 and a lot of like I cut through I want to say anywhere from 32 to 40-inch diameter silver maple. And
Yep.
I went through a few chains at that job, but I really like doing that because I like if I could, I would switch all my business over to providing a service instead of a product because I just get paid straight up and there's no product that I have to provide.
The
So
problem with providing a service is what you have to work with when you get there can sometimes be a bit of an issue. So I used to do mobile processing with my firewood processor. Some guys would have really great logs, and other guys, when you get there, it's just like, guys, we cannot put this through the
yeah,
firewood processor. And they're like, oh, we want to try. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's try it.
big old knotty mess.
Yeah. eh, Garbage in is garbage out. That's what I tell everybody with a splitter or a processor. Garbage in is garbage out. If you throw a great big crotched knot up on that splitter and think you're getting bundle grade wood, it's not happening.
No, you're getting all mangled and
You're
when the
getting boiler wood at best.
knot it's all curved and
Hey, how you doing, Shotlift Family Firewood? We're actually on a little late. Some people wanted to stay on, so we stayed on. So this is probably one of the longest lives I've done in a while. But Tucker's younger than I am, so he's got all kinds of energy,
stay up all night.
right?
No, definitely not. I'm in bed. I'm in bed by 10 every night. It's
Me
crazy.
too, but that's because I'm old.
Yeah, I need my sleep, or else I can't function. That is for sure.
Wood for Warriors is Labor Day weekend every year. So it's Labor Day weekend in Hickory, North Carolina every year. So that's the Wood for Warriors event.
Yeah, Dad. When I got on the phone with the sales rep at Timberwolf for this new machine, I jumped the gun and I texted Russ and I was like, "Oh, when's it next year? I'll have a da 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 da." And so I was like, already been thinking about going for sure to that next year.
Yeah, yeah, we got a bunch of people that reached out when I was down there this year, and they want to bring some big machines down next year. They saw us busting up some of the bigger logs and stuff to fit on the small processors we had, and the guy's got a great big giant Cord King circle saw machine, the biggest one they make. He said,
For
"Leave them whole next year." He said, "Just keep the wagon fed." He said, "I'll do the rest." I feel old, Roger, if that accounts for anything. I know I'm not quite as old as you are, but I definitely feel old.
Brandon, why do you gotta be up at 2 a.m.? Crazy.
Josh, old is only what you feel, and sometimes I feel old, sometimes I don't.
So my
What's this? So somebody says, by the way, Russ, I did have a question for you. Your processor takes 12-foot logs. If I was to cut 24-foot logs, do I need to count for the kerf of the bar, or exactly 12 foot? So it's 12 foot minus the kerf, and I'd have to measure, but I believe it's 80 thousandths. 80 thousandths on these. I will measure and find out, and then you can cut them to what we need. And so that's one thing to account for with a firewood processor is the kerf of the saw. You can cut all of your logs, your butt logs, to length so that there's nothing left over. So you're not getting those little cookies at the end or a cutoff. It's just all. I always did that with all my firewood processors. I tried to, at least my first cut logs that would fit on the deck, I tried to make them perfect so there was no offcuts. It made everything processing so much faster.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Efficient. Efficiency is key when you get to the bulky work.
Yeah. So I could have answered why Brandon had to be up so early. He works prisoner transport for his day job, and then he does gravel and firewood for his side job. He stays really busy, so he's always doing something.
Wow. I think I'm busy, and then
I know I am. I do a lot more stuff with the computer and things like that than I ever did, and just trying to keep everything in line. We've got affiliate programs that we work with and vendors, and yeah, there's just 80 is harvester. That's what this is harvester chain for the firewood processor. So
what's it like to file those chains?
not fun. Buy a
Yeah.
grinder. It's a whole lot easier to use a grinder.
I've heard.
You can do them by hand, but it's not as much fun.
What kind of grinder do you have?
I've just got an Oregon, just one of the cheap Oregon grinders right now. I've been looking at the new what's the company? The Canadian sawmill company, the green saw Woodlands. Woodlands Mills just came out with an automatic sharpener that will do 325, 3/8, and 404 chain. So I could do all of my chainsaw chains and my harvester chain on the same sharpener. They're like $2,000.
What does it file it for you then?
What's that?
So what does it file it for you then?
Yep, it's automatic. You set your tooth and it runs the whole chain around. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Wow,
it's a game changer for sure.
That's crazy, because then you could do a sharpening service with that too.
Sparkling Ice Cube. I loathe editing videos. That's what I look forward to the least. So I do very little editing on my videos. I keep it just about as simple as possible. I do not do a bunch of editing. Pitch. I don't know. I usually sharpen them at a 30-degree angle, Roger. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't worry about angles really at all when I'm sharpening a chain. All I worry about is how sharp it is, really.
I look at the witness mark. So you got your witness mark on the back of your tooth, and I keep my file horizontal with that.
Yep.
I can hand sharpen pretty well. If I ever get one that's off too far, then I'll just go ahead and just put it on the grinder, and I'll use the grinder to bring it back to true.
Yeah, Josh. There's a show on. I was watching football, obviously Sunday, but I don't know what it switched to.
So Firewood 50, I do deliveries for John, and I'm going to be doing some deliveries for Robert, the two guys that do my restaurant wood. They still have some customers that are left over from when they did firewood before, and I run their deliveries for them. So it's definitely an option.
$5K for a grinder. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's $2,000 for that Woodland Mills automatic grinder that they just came out with. So it's quite a bit cheaper. Firewood 50 bags are supposed to be here this coming week. Brandon, the Dremel style grinders are good. So one thing to pay attention to with any grinder, and it does not matter what you're using it on, is never get your tooth hot. Always take a very little bit at a time. Never let that tooth get hot. The minute you heat that tooth up, you lose the temper in it. It's not going to hold an edge. So just a little bit at a time. Don't drive it into the tooth and say, "Well, I'm just going to take a bunch of material off," because you'll heat it up and it won't hold an edge.
Yeah, you'll blew it.
Yeah, the processor chains, they're harder to sharpen, Brandon, but they're not anywhere near as tough as a circle saw. You gotta definitely keep your wits about you when you're sharpening them and stuff, and pay attention to your wood when you're running it through. The chains are fairly expensive, and nobody likes to sharpen that much. No, they can't do 3/4 chain for the big harvesters, BGW. I asked already because I had some guys up here that wanted them, so it's just it's one of those deals that they haven't had enough need or demand for it yet. So I know Granberg has a bar mounted electric sharpener that you can put and set your tooth angle and do it that way. And that's really accurate and it does a good job. It takes a little bit longer, but it definitely makes the chain really, really sharp. So but
Yes, hand file all my chains still right now.
Gramp still has me beat by a long shot with the hand filing. Usually if Gramp says that that's pretty good, that's about as good as I'm going to get, and I'll take that as a compliment. So
Sounds about right. When did I start neighborly? I did I think it was 3 months ago. I started YouTube, maybe 3.5 months.
So
I'm
he's
trying to,
making us all look bad, Tim. I've been doing this about 2 years and he's almost caught me already. So look at that.
I'll have to check it. I'm actually curious. It's probably closer to 4, but yeah. Yeah, I'm really trying to take it serious. I do a long form video every day now. I used to just be consistent with my shorts. Two of my shorts did really well. One's at 400K views, and the other one's at almost 200K. So that's kind of where I started, was with shorts every day. But like you said, with the long forms, the community aspect of it, I really like that. So
Yep.
I'm gonna stick to that, and I can kind of talk about, like, I can kind of show my expertise more, way more, in a long form video than I can um, with a short. A shorts, and with a short, the more like general it is and kind of like goofy and whatever, the better it'll do, in my opinion. Unless you're talking about something that's kind of controversial and people will comment and they'll interact with it.
Yeah. All you got to do is put the word cord in one of your short
Yep,
videos. You're all
yep.
set. They'll
Oh,
argue about it for days.
and you got people spelling cord with an H and spelling it so wrong, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah. 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 I had a video. When we go to John's yard, he's got third cord baskets all pre stacked. So it takes 3 baskets to make a cord.
yeah,
They see the first basket going and the first comment they make, that's not a cord. I know it's not. I told you we got to put 3 of those in the trailer to make a cord. You put 3 in, well, that doesn't look like a cord from here. So, and they'll just start arguing back and forth amongst themselves. And it's like, holy cow, you guys.
it's crazy. Like, one of the comments I think has like 120 something likes, and it's like the most ridiculous thing ever. And when I first started out, I would respond to a few of them, but now I'm just like, you guys are so.
Roger, that video's still going. So I don't know what happened with my Facebook Reels today, but normally I hover right around 100,000 views a day, somewhere in there on my Facebook Reels. We're up over 300,000 views today, and it brought back that old cord video where everybody was arguing.
Yep.
And that's all I've been doing is answering and liking comments on that one for the longest time. And I'm just like, my goodness, you guys just don't stop with this video. It's up to like, I don't know, 600,000 or 700,000 views right now at this point on that reel. And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
crazy. What always amazes me is how people just sit there all day and just spew hate and negativity on these
we
people who
don't
are,
have that on my channel because I've got a rule. If there's any of that on my channel, I hit the block button and you're gone. I
yeah,
don't do the swearing. I don't do the profanity. You can disagree with somebody respectfully, but if
exactly,
you're going to be ignorant about it and call names, see ya.
exactly, yeah, no
And
time for
I'll
that.
tell you, it's made my whole social media so much more enjoyable to not have to deal with that. I could leave it and my channel would probably grow 10 times faster because everybody's just going to argue with everybody.
Yep,
That's not what I'm about. I want to try to help somebody if I can. And, we're not going to be able to help somebody with people like that in there.
exactly, exactly. It'll drown out all the the community aspect that you want with a channel if you have way more people just
Yep.
randomly.
So Northwest PA Firewood wants to know if I make revenue from my Facebook Reels. Right now, I make as much money with Facebook as I make with YouTube. So YouTube, we average anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a month, give or take, depending on view count and watch time right now.
Mhm.
And so far, I'm tracking for about $750 with Facebook this coming month. So it's everything's picking up. I'm very transparent. I won't hide anything from you guys for what I'm making. It's a lot of work. If you took the amount of time that I answer comments and I spend editing and doing all of this stuff, you would think I was crazy to be spending the amount of time I'm doing for this, but there's so much more that goes with it. So, like the equipment stuff that I work with, the machines and things that I'm building and designing, that's all happened because of this stuff right here. So it's those business interactions and those relationships that have been made that makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm getting my first YouTube check next month because I got monetized September 20 something. So like
Yep.
officially got through all of it and all that stuff. So it's way better than I expected. The long form videos definitely are more um they get you there and you're a lot more revenue than the shorts. So that's also why I'm trying to focus on long form videos every day.
Yep. Yeah, social media can be very hard on business. You can become so wrapped up in your social media that you forget about your business.
Exactly.
I've seen people do it. I know everybody's like Instagram, Instagram, Insta. Check out my Insta, and all my Facebook reels post to Instagram, and I've never really paid any attention to it. I have an Instagram account. Just last night alone, I picked up like 500 new subscribers on Instagram, like out of nowhere, and I'm
Yeah,
like, huh?
that's what I do. I click the button on Facebook where it says like share to Instagram, so I just don't even look at it.
Yep.
And I've posted a handful of times on Facebook. It's just I'm not to the point yet where I can be consistent enough with that, and that's because I've quit doing like the kind of shorts. So it's like it's iffy. Facebook for sure.
Hey Mitchell, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, so with the reels and stuff, like Facebook will give you what they want you to produce for the week, like how many new followers, how many reels, whatever. I try to get all of those done, and I've done that consistently for I don't know 2 or 3 months now. At this point, when we started in July, I had 1,000 followers, and now we're up to 7,000 followers. We
Yeah,
got monetized early because of our content account and everything else, and just we cranked along and it's working. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, glowing. I am getting ad revenue now. It's really nice. This month, I because I got it or September like 28th, but that doesn't count for this month's like threshold or whatever it's called. So I'm at like 230 right now just for this month.
so TRX Outdoors is Young Bucks. So that's American Country 716's son. He just got himself a new ATV working hard with Firewood.
Yeah,
So congratulations on that, young man.
that's a lot of fun.
They apologized for being late to my last live because they were picking up their ATV, and I told them I would have been late to my live too if I was picking up a
Yep.
new ATV.
What? Say, I want to see.
David Parker, that's awesome. I hope you come back walking and hopefully running shortly after that. Good luck, brother. So yeah, that's the whole thing with the lives. Like a lot of people will do the lives in the vertical stream like we are right now, and they'll just go live. You get a lot of the spam bots because people can just catch it scrolling.
Hmm.
If they're only there for a short period of time, you're not getting the view count for them, so it doesn't really count. It'll show as a view on your actual live, but when you look at your watch time hours, they're not there long enough for it to really matter.
Yep, it's
So
valid watch hours.
yep. So they've got to actually spend some time there to be able to get all of that stuff sorted out. I don't mind having 100 people in a live that are actually going to watch and contribute and participate versus 3,000 that are just, Jesus loves you, or my finger's purple, or
Yeah,
did you see the cat on the wall and there's no cat anywhere in the, I don't understand why it's even, but whatever.
yeah. American Country. The biggest thing, with if you're struggling with views and stuff like that, and I think you do more shorts than long form, but I could be mistaken. But just consistency, and if you have just videos that you don't want them to be random, you know what I mean? You wanna have kind of a structure to your videos, so your title has to be something that people are gonna read and say, "Hey, I wanna click that." And then as well as that, the first 2 seconds of your video have to be something catchy, and you have to tell them exactly what the video is gonna be. You can't be like, "Oh, we're doing a firewood delivery," and then the first 15 seconds are you, like, cutting wood or you loading up. Like, they wanna see it delivered and dumped, you know what I mean? So that's a big thing with just the YouTube is kind of that suspense. You know what I mean? It's got to be like a roller coaster.
So they talk about A-roll and B-roll film. So your B-roll is kind of like highlights from the video. Your B-roll needs to take your title and basically put your whole video in about a 30-second clip in the beginning of your video. And then after that is your A-roll, which is all of your actual content from your channel and what you're doing in that video. But your B-roll is kind of like a highlight reel at the beginning or a blooper or something to catch somebody's attention to make them want to keep watching.
Yep. I did meet you guys at the Bunyan show. It was fun making that short with you guys. Yeah, I met you with Russ at the Typhoon tent.
Yep. Yep.
Typhoon commented on my YouTube and they said the next event that I'm at, that I should stop by.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'm not sure what event that is, but I'll have to
Right? Have to find out. We go to almost all of them, so no matter what event it is, I'm sure Typhoon will be at
Okay.
least somewhere close by. So, but I think I'm about. Oh, there's Okie Woodsman, Joe. How you doing, Joe? Good to see you, buddy. We're kind of running well into overtime here, but we got Tucker from Tucker's Timbers here, and we're just kind of chatting firewood and YouTube and trying to see if we can solve a few of the world's problems. Daniel, you weren't at Bunyan. You were there in spirit. I know you were there in spirit because you were out on the West Coast, buddy. Yeah, see, I knew Daniel was in spirit down further in the comments. Daniel's my SOL department. So if anybody's rude, we let them send an email to Daniel and Daniel takes care of it for us.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. He earned that title honestly right from the start. Joe, who built that Echo saw for you? Was that Iowa Performance Work Saws, or who built that Echo? Yes, I will be sure to include Woodland Mills in that for sure. American Country 716. If you and Neighborly Homestead want to get on next Sunday's live, let me know and I'll send you guys a link and we can do a live next Sunday. Have a good one, James. 307 Performance Saws. All right.
Thanks
Well,
for
that's what it's all about, Matt. That's what it's all about. That's when I tell everybody help someone if you can, and a little bit every day goes a long way. I mean it. It's what has got me to where I am today. So, well, I think I'm gonna call it, Tucker,
Yeah.
and then we'll catch you on the next one. And I appreciate everybody stopping by. You have any parting words of wisdom you want to give everybody before you go?
Not really. Just keep working. Really. Don't listen to the people who regret not taking a risk like you did. That's kind of my big
Yep.
thing. People are hating. Just realize that they didn't go out on a limb and they aren't putting themselves out there on social media and stuff like that. So don't listen to the hate. That's my biggest thing.
There you go. And like I always say, guys, a little bit every day goes a long way, and help someone if you can. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you later.